it's Chantel with Wildberry Quilting, and today we're going to be discussing different types of rulers, and we're going to do a comparison between the different ones that I have. This isn't going to be exhaustive because I don't have every type of ruler there is. I don't know that anybody does, honestly. There's a lot of different ruler options out there. But hopefully this will help give you an idea as to maybe some of the types of rulers you might be interested in investing in. We're going to compare some key factors between 5 different types of rulers. I've got Tula Pink rulers, Creative Grids, OmniGrip, Cute Cuts, and Missouri Star. And the key points that we're going to be comparing are the grip factor, how well they are at preventing slippage, and visibility on different colors of fabric, the different markings and measurements and how well you can see those measurements, or how clearly they are defined from each other. And then, of course, additional features that you may find with each individual ruler by itself. Now, to make this simpler, I am going to just be comparing square rulers because I think that's easier to get a more accurate representation of the differences that are offered rather than comparing a long ruler and a square ruler and, triangle ruler, you get the idea. Compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is grippiness and the ability to stop slide when you are trying to bear down on your ruler and make cuts. This is the Cute Cuts ruler. We're going to start with that. All of these flowers that you see and the edging that goes along this are your grips. I still get quite a bit of slippage with this ruler. I have to bear down quite a bit to hold it in place. So, but it's not terrible. I would say that this is probably middle of the road in my opinion. It's about moderate. Next, we have the Missouri Star ruler. Now, the grips on this are actually all of your markings. And that is because this is etched into it rather than printed. And I feel like this offers a good deal of grip. I'm not bearing down very hard, and you see it is not slipping very easily. This has, I would say, a very high grip rate and low slippage. Next on our list is the OmniGrip. Now, on this, there is not a particular grippiness. It's hard to describe, but it's not what you may be used to. This is a lot smoother. It is still by far light years ahead of the OmniGrid, which just ends with a D instead of a P. It's the same brand, I believe. It's just this is supposed to be a bit more grippy, and it really is more grippy than that. But it's not very stable. There is still a lot of slide to this, and you do have to bear down on it a bit. I would say this is on the lower side of grippiness. It's definitely lower than, I would say, what the Cute Cuts is. So, and next we have the Creative Grids ruler. Now, The grips on this are these little dots and this 1/2 inch of grippiness around. This is actually a very nice textured type of grip. I do feel that it is more substantial than the Cute Cuts grip, but it's not very far different. It's just a little bit more textured than that. But that can make a good difference when you are cutting with it. This, I think, would be my second choice for grips after the Missouri Star. And then the last of our grippiness is the Tula Pink. Now, this whole big unicorn on the back and this 1/4 inch mark going around the edges are your grips. This has a lot of grip surface to it, but that grip surface is not very strong. This slides quite easily, and honestly, I would say this probably is maybe about equal with that omnigrip. It's pretty close. They're close to tied, I'd say. All right, so let's discuss visibility on different fabric types. We'll go in the same order that we started in, with the Cute Cuts starting us out. Now, on darker fabrics, as you can probably tell, this almost disappears. All of your markings and measurements, you can see it, but you're going to be getting down pretty close to figure out where your marks are. And it's going to take just a little bit more concentration to figure out where to cut. It shows up very well on medium colored fabrics, very well on light colored fabrics, and no issue at all on white. So really, it's just the dark fabrics that you're going to run into a little bit of a issue with. Next, we have the Missouri Star ruler. This is a very bright ruler, and as you can see, it shows up extremely well on the dark fabric. You can see all of your markings clearly. There's no issues there. Sorry for all the noise. I'm moving rulers around. It also shows up very well on your medium colored fabrics and on your light color and your white fabric. Now, just to be completely transparent, I went and found a fabric that is almost the same color as the Missouri Star ruler because I wanted to see how it would show up on this. And as you can see, it still has no problem showing, despite the fact that that is nearly the identical color. It still almost glows over the top of it, and it's very easy to see your lines. So next, and if you were curious about the Cute Cuts ruler with that one, it shows up really well. So next on our list is the omnigrip. That shows up very well on the dark fabric. I'd say it was pretty well on the medium fabric. And it shows up well on both the light and the white fabric. So you get good visibility on all of those. And again, let's test it on this one since it's very close to that color. Again, there's no problem seeing that either. So I would rank that high for visibility. It's very good. Next, we have the Creative Grips ruler. Now, when you put this on the dark fabric, it I feel like in the camera it's showing up better than it is in person, but it is okay. It's better than the cute cuts, I believe, but it's not, these darker lines definitely fade out and are harder to see on the dark fabric. And I imagine if you were cutting on black fabric, it would be nearly impossible to see. The medium colored fabric, it looks fine. Now this is interesting because the light color fabric, some of your lines actually disappear on that lighter colored fabric. And the same thing on the white, some of your lines disappear. So let me hold that closer so you can actually see. It's all of these light colored lines. And they may have actually designed it this way intentionally so that you would be able to hold it on dark fabric and see the lighter colored lines, and hold it on light fabric and see the darker colored lines. I do think that's a good idea as a design feature, and I would consider that to be I think that would probably be decent visibility, just because it does offer the two different colors. So you do have options there, and your lines don't ever fully disappear because of that. So next, we've got the Tula Pink ruler. Now, again, those darker lines become more difficult to see on the darker fabric. You do still have all of these little plus marks and your diagonal lines and your cross lines, but the darker lines are less visible, and there is not a backup system in place like with the Creative Notion or the Creative Grids ruler. Next is the light colored fabric, or the medium colored fabric. And you can see that these pinks, they're a little bit harder to see, but your blacks show up. And, you know, that's kind of depends on what it is you're cutting as to which of those you are going to need. But, and then of course on the light fabric, your, the light and the white fabric, your lighter colored cross markings kind of all are much more difficult to see, particularly on this lighter fabric. Surprisingly, it's more difficult to see on the lighter fabric than it is on the white. But of course, your black lines all show up very well. All right, so let's discuss the measurements and the markings. We have an extra 1/4 of an inch on all sides on this ruler. That makes it a 5.5 inch ruler. Now, what you are looking at in the non-frosted area is 5 inches, and that is what is marked. It can be a little confusing getting used to a ruler like this because it's not necessarily intuitive, and you really have to know that this 1/4 of an inch is in addition to the inside measurements and not part of those measurements, if that makes sense. Numbers. You have 1 inch marks marked on all 4 sides of this ruler. And they are very visible and easy to see. Next, we have the Missouri Star ruler. This does not have that extra frosted 1/4 of an inch that some of the others have. This is simply the measurement that you read on here is what you are getting. So this is it's a 10 inch ruler. You see up to 9 inch, and then 10 is here. So all of the numbers are very clearly marked, and they are marked on all 4 sides. They also have a circle around them, which just helps them to stand out a little bit better. And I do like that feature. Next, we've got the omnigrip. Now, the omnigrip This is a 8.5-inch ruler. And again, it is just marked to what it is. So, and it's marked again on all 4 sides. It does have a little bit of this grippy material on 2 of the edges, but it is not in addition to your measurement. It is a part of your measurement. So from here to the end of your ruler is 1 inch, as opposed to being 1 inch here and then an additional, I guess this is an 1/8 of an inch mark of frosting. So it's not in addition to, it is part of your measurement. And again, you've got these circles around your numbers, which help distinguish them a little bit better so that they don't blend in as much. Next, we've got the Creative Grits ruler. And this actually has a 1/2 inch of frosting around the edges. And just like the omnigrip ruler, this 1/2 of an inch is part of your measurement. It is not in addition to your measurement. So that helps cut down on confusion, I think, when you are using these, unless you like that extra having it in addition to instead of part of your measurement. You also have these circles around your numbers, which again help make it stand out a little bit more. And you also have an additional feature here on this one, which are these squares around certain measurements. So 2.5 inch, 4.5 inch, for example. Have measurements on all 4 sides of this ruler. Now the Tula Pink ruler, we have measurements on 2 of the sides. The other 2 do not have numbers marking what these lines are. You have this 1/4 of an inch of frosting, but again, it is part of your measurement, not in addition to it. And you do not have those circles like we had with some of the others that went around your numbers. So these numbers can disappear into your fabric and be difficult to spot. All right. So now we have additional features regarding each of these rulers. Now with the cute cuts, you see we have these lines going across and, well, going diagonally and going across. We have a dotted line. Try and hold this up behind it again. That is very helpful for when you are squaring up a block that has an already pieced block. It helps with 1/2 square triangles by using these, and it helps with, of course, 1/4 square triangles and 1/4 square blocks. Next, we have Missouri Star ruler, and as you can see, this has our main diagonal lines, but it also has a square within a square lines. So this will help with 1/2 square triangles, 1/4 square triangles, and also square within a square blocks. It would probably also be useful for things like broken dish blocks. I find these additional markings extremely useful when squaring up a block. In addition to these extra markings, we have the fact that all of our markings are etched into the ruler. Now, if you have had a ruler for any period of time, any extended period of time, then you know that eventually your printed rulers will start to rub off. The printing will start to rub off. and you'll eventually have to replace that ruler. Now, to give you an idea, my Tula Pink ruler, I just bought these a few months ago. Well, maybe a year ago now. And I already have places where my print is starting to rub off. And I've used these some, but I have not used them to the point that I would expect rubbing off of the print to occur. That will never happen with this one. I can't see that ever happening with this one because this is etched right in here. So I can rub my nail across it and it gets stuck in there. It is literally etched in. Can't really show that well, I don't think, but that will help preserve that ruler for longer. And I do like that additional feature. Next, I have the OmniGrid ruler. Now, this one only has one diagonal line. It's great for half square triangles, but you're going to be wanting that extra diagonal line when you're squaring up quarter square triangles. And I've found that I really like to have that additional marking. Next, we have the Creative Grids ruler. Now, this one has, again, just that one diagonal marking. At least you have one, but it'd be nice if they had both. Additional features that I like about this one, besides, other than the marking though, is I really like the fact that Creative Grids does have some left-handed ruler options. Now, can you use a right-handed ruler if you are left-handed? Absolutely. I sometimes have to turn it a couple of times to figure out which way I need it to go. And really, I don't know that that would decrease if I was using a left-handed ruler. I've never used one that was specifically for lefties. But I do like the fact that they're thinking of left-handed people. So kudos to Creative Grids. You get bonus points in my book for that. Next, I've got the Tula Pink ruler. Now, as far as markings go, additional markings, I really like, again, that this has the diagonals and the cross marks. Just like our Cute Cuts ruler did. They have a slightly different approach because they just did it as a solid line, and they did it in different colors so that you could they would contrast with the black marks. Whereas Creative Grids whereas Cute Cuts, to make theirs stand out, they did a dotted line when doing the cross one. I like having these extra markings, and I think they're fantastic. Now, again, I would say this would also be an additional feature, having this 1/4 inch all the way around. And you've got 3 options of rulers that have that extra frosting around the edge. 1/4 inch for these two and 1/2 inch for your Creative Grids. All right, so one additional feature that we should talk about with these rulers is price. And obviously you can find some of these on sale at different times, and that is definitely something to look for, and that will definitely vary the price greatly. But as a whole, what prices can you normally expect with these rulers? Now, the way that I compared price was I found one size of ruler that was offered by every one of these types of ruler, which happened to be the 12.5-inch ruler. Obviously, some of these rulers are not available in every size. For example, the Tula Pink ruler is only offered in, I think it's 4 or 5 different sizes. So that is something else to be aware of. Now, what prices can you expect? That's going to depend on if you can find these on sale, but I compared non-sale prices. And the cheapest was the Cute Cuts ruler. These occasionally come across on sale, but usually it is a single ruler, or maybe a company is running a special on all Lori Holtz items or something to that nature. It's not super often that they come on sale, that I have seen anyways. Next, for price, was the Missouri Star ruler. Sorry, I've got everything written to the side over here, so I'm looking. The next lowest price was the Missouri Star ruler. And these I've seen go on sale multiple times already this year. And when I bought them, each time they were on sale. I'm, again, comparing the normal non-sale price, but just know that these pop up on sale often, and you can get a really good price on them, like half off. Next is the omnigrip ruler. And these ones you can find on, well, lots of different places. Missouri Star one you're probably only going to find at Missouri Star or on Amazon. These you should be able to find at most of your rear quilt shops, just like the Cute Cuts ruler. And this was the third place for price. As far as sales go, I haven't really seen much, but I'm sure they do go on sale occasionally. Now, the next group is the Creative Grids ruler. They came in fourth place for price. And again, they're similar to the Lori Holtz as far as sales go. And then the Tula Pinks are the most expensive at regular price. However, I will say that I bought these from Fat Quarter Shop, and they were very steeply discounted from what they normally are. If you buy them in a set of 4, they are typically even more discounted. I think I got this full set for like, I want to say it was $30 or $40 for this whole set, because it was a full set and because Fat Quarter Shop had a sale. So look for those sales. They will definitely help. And you can find probably whichever one you prefer at a sale price if you're willing to wait for it. All right, guys, so those are our ruler comparisons. I hope this was helpful in your decisions as to which ruler you might be interested in. And if it was, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button. As you may have guessed, my favorite is definitely the Missouri Star, and I believe I'm going to be investing in more of these in the future. But there's a lot of other rulers out there, and there might be something even better that I haven't tried yet. What is your favorite type of ruler? Did I cover it in this, or is it something else? Please let me know and tell me if there's one that I need to check out that's just blows everything else away. So thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.